Hey, I'm Matt. I'm the visual storyteller at BombBomb, and today I'm going to be talking about 3 affordable webcams that you can buy on Amazon right now. Last year, when COVID forced everyone into their homes, webcams became almost a necessity, and they became expensive and hard to find. While many of us are still working from home, at least you can find some affordable webcam options now. But the question is, how good are these cheap webcams? Today, I'm going to be looking at 3 webcams ranging from $35 to $55. That's a pretty good price range. First, let's talk about the design real quick. I feel like all webcams kind of look the same these days. They all kind of look like the Logitech C920, especially this NexiGo webcam. As you can see, it's almost just a smaller version of the C920. It even has the blue lights around the side that light up. Anyways, let's get into the video quality of each of these webcams. We're going to be looking at brightness, sharpness, color, specifically skin tone, low light performance, and frame rate. Sometimes the frame rate drops in low light settings because the shutter speed has to slow down to allow more light into the sensor. And then of course we'll look at the audio quality of each of the mics inside of the webcams. So now let's just go through each of them, starting with the $35 Gizmo webcam.
Honestly, I think it's a pretty good image for a $35 webcam. Nice high frame rate, nice and crisp. The light looks good. It's not struggling at all in the standard indoor light setting. I think it's pretty good. The microphone, on the other hand, not great. You can tell it's just a very cheap microphone. There's a lot of distortion. I would go with an external microphone or just stick with your built-in computer microphone if that's an option.
Now let's take a look at the Gizmo webcam in a low light setting. It's actually not bad. It's better than I thought it was going to be. It's still, you got a smooth frame rate. It's really doing a good job digging into the shadows. It's a pretty good image for a low light setting for a $35 webcam. Now let's take a look at the $40 Amcrest webcam.
First thing you'll notice is that it's much wider. And when it's this wide, you have to make sure to try to keep your head more centered in frame, because if you go too far to the edges, you'll start to get distortion. You can see here. You can see, like, if your head was on the edge, it would start to get a little bit warped, which just looks weird. So the more centered you are, the more normal the proportions are going to be. Some people like more of the fisheye look. If that's your thing, then this is a great camera option. This is super wide for a webcam. Everything else looks pretty good too. It's nice and bright, crisp. Nice skin tones. For $40, it's a good deal. The microphone, on the other hand, is terrible. When I played the video back, the audio was so soft I could barely hear it. So what you're hearing now is actually an amplified version of the original audio. So this is what the audio sounds like on this camera. It's not at all usable.
Now let's take a look at how the Amcrest webcam performs in low light conditions. You can definitely see that it struggles a lot more with the shadows. The frame rate's still alright, but it's definitely a lot darker. Now let's take a look at the $55 NexiGo webcam, which, by the way, like the Amcrest webcam, comes with a privacy cover that you can attach. You can tell it's definitely the brightest out of all the webcams. It's almost a little blown out in this light setting, which you could easily make a few lamp adjustments and it'd be fine. You can also see the focus. See if it autofocuses. It seems like there's a little bit more depth in this camera, and you can see the autofocus working to adjust to your head. There we go. It's a little slow, but it works. It still finds it. Also noteworthy, the microphone in this camera is actually decent. It's definitely much better than the other two. So you could actually use the microphone built into this camera if you wanted to. Now let's see how the NexiGo performs in low light. I think it looks pretty good. Like, the skin tones are still good. It's doing a good job with the shadows. You can see some artifacts in the image, but overall it's a pretty good low light performance for a $55 webcam. So this is definitely better than the Amcrest webcam. I'd say this camera performs better than the Gizmo webcam in low light, just because it does a better job with the skin tones. There might be a few more artifacts in the image, but for me in a low light setting, I don't mind if there's a few artifacts in the image, as long as the skin tones are good. By the way, they all have the little articulating arm to help it attach to your screen. The only difference is that the NexiGo webcam allows you to adjust the pan of the webcam, but not the tilt, whereas with the other webcams, it's the opposite. Okay, so now after looking at all 3 of these, here's how I'd score them. I think NexiGo is definitely the best webcam of the 3, and it's a great deal at $55. It has a decent built-in microphone, at least it's usable compared to the other 2, and it has a solid image that performs pretty well in low light and does a great job with skin tones even in that low light environment. The runner-up is the Gizmo webcam. $35 is a steal for a webcam like this, and it does have great low light performance, even though it doesn't maintain the skin tones quite as well as the NexiGo. The mic, on the other hand, isn't great. And number 3 at $40 is the Amcrest. It's definitely not a terrible webcam, and it has that cool fisheye perspective if that's something you like, but it does struggle in low light, and the microphone is absolutely unusable. So if your built-in computer microphone isn't good either, then you'll definitely definitely have to buy an external microphone. I hope this review's been helpful, and please leave a comment and let us know if you've discovered any great low price cameras. We'd love to hear about them. See ya.